Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Spider-Man Adventures issue number 7. Now as you know, it follows some elements from the TV series, but with some slight modifications. Now you got Spider-Man battling Dr. Ock. Now let's get on the story. It starts off how Doc Ock barges in saying, "And I assure you, little run, that after this evening, she will take notice. Come, it is time for us to leave." And so Peter's like, "Felicia, stay back!" And Doc Ock takes Felicia. Peter gets knocked down. Well, Peter manages to come to while medics and a detective help out. And Felicia's mum's like, "How could something like this happen? Right in my own home. Never mind who's he, and what's he doing in my daughter's room? I'm Peter Parker, Miss Hardley. I came to pick up Felicia for our date tonight. I met you at Joan Dana's. Yes, of course. And when you think about it, shouldn't she have been aware? I mean, I guess the shock probably made her feel not forgetting all that. So yeah, so mainly she gets a ransom note and realizes that it's Doc Ock who cut off his funding and research. And given the fact that that this kind of follows a bit differently, where Doc Ock was already as a villain and yet never helped Spider-Man to get Scorpion, saying, "But it does, Miss Agent Rose. How could I forget? I met him at the Oscorp complex when Scorpion went on a rampage. His technical experience saved that place from going nuclear meltdown. I especially remember thanking him for the fine job he did." And so Peter leaves to get into action. And meanwhile, Felicia Harley is being held against her will. It's like, "Please, put me down. I really don't know who you are." And while Doc Ock was talking about how his funding was coming close, and Felicia's mum kind of pulled the plug. And even though Doc Ock tried to do the research himself, ended up with him getting his tentacles fused and him becoming Dr. Octopus. So meanwhile at the Daily Bugle, John Jameson tries to talk with Doc Ock, but due to it, he ends up making things worse. And Peter follows John Jameson, where Doc Ock has him saying, "Don't flush your luck, my friend. I want the money." And so Spider-Man shows up to take on Doc Ock, and amazingly Peter gets bashed around and thrown right into the trash. Because he's rubbish. So meanwhile at the Parker house, Peter's using an old school computer, given the fact this is the 90s, and studies his research, and says his work was his whole life, and he wasn't getting results. He blamed Miss Hardley, and he wouldn't even take his own advice. I think I understand what drove Octavia to this madness. I've got to let the others know before it's too late. And so they see, like, so mainly Miss Hardley, Robbie Robinson, and the agent see that going on, and Peter explains that he now understands, and that it's kind of Miss Hardley's fault, saying, "You heard him when you revoked his funding. His work means everything to him. By taking that away as it took his life." And you think about it, Peter makes a good point. It's kind of her own fault for pushing Dr. Octopus over the edge. It's kind of like what Batman says, actions have consequences. So Peter gets the phone call, and they decide to send Peter to deal with the problem. So mainly Doc Ock shows up, and tries to take on Doc Ock, but then shows up as Spider-Man, and manages to take on Dr. Octopus this time without any failures. And so Spider-Man webs his eyes, saying, and edits the machine, and deactivate Dr. Octopus. You literally actions only deserve the invincible. So, mainly Doc Ock gets the shock of a lifetime, and after that, gets defeated, and manages to save Felicia and John Jameson. And they're like, "What kind of boneheaded rescue attempt was that, Parker? You're crazy, kid. You ought to have your head examined." "Stop that, Mr. Jameson. Are you alright, Peter?" "Just my pride, Felicia. Octopus is headed right for a maximum capability thanks to Spider-Man." And so afterwards, Peter says, "I've had enough. I'm going home." "Wait, what about our date? Oh, we still never..." "Good night, Peter. See you at school." I feel like Peter still wants to go on a date after all this fiasco. And so, yeah, that's the story. What do I think? Not bad for issue 7, so I definitely give this a good thumbs up. It kind of alters things in the story and tweaks some things a bit, so it's still an alright story, so Comic Viewer here, signing out.